Well, welcome to an earlier surf report, earlier than I normally do, because if I don't do it now, it's going to be much later than normal. So here's our week from October 10th to October 16th, 2024. Calling this a pressure cooker. There are some really big bright spots, but all in all, it's going to feel pressurized and probably confusing if we bring the Dreambot into this. Speaking of the Dreambot, here's our overview slide. We'll start with that. We have weird thoughts and feelings. It's overwhelming. There's just a big, long list of words having to do with odd and weird thoughts and feelings. That's a perfect match to the I-Ching that says difficulty at the beginning. This line 5 is more of apparently a leadership type of line. So we have that overlap, but the difficulty at the beginning references the first quarter moon. It's early in the eclipse cycle. And then the difficulty is the T-square. We actually have a couple of T-squares, Mercury to start off with. And then the last half of the week, it centers on the sun and the two power planets, Pluto and Mars. And that's the summary of the tropical astrology. You got the first quarter moon. You've got the second of 3 grand water trines in this era, not just this week. So this week is just the one. And then we have Jupiter retrograde. We have a brief grand air trine. This is all happening throughout the week. And then 2 T-squares on the sun. One of them is right at the onset with the first quarter moon right here. All right, let's do this. Huge shout out to Truth is Everything 9511. This was by far the most popular comment with 7 ups, and don't want to risk this, so I won't even read it. Hopefully you can see that. And then there is a lot of lithium in that area. Yes, so it's neat that our channel likes these kind of comments, because I like them too. Let's go to the Dreambot. Here we go. First word is kinda. No. A lot of thinking words, and words like weird, and then, extremely, so very, feeling. So lots of thoughts and feelings that are off and weird. So there's that. All right. The astrology started a new Libra eclipse cycle. Can you guess what the next eclipse cycle is going to be on March 29th? We're going back to Aries, and that's because of the nodes. The lunar nodes are in Aries and Libra. And once those leave those two, that continuum, we will have a different set of new moon eclipses. All right, just starting this cycle, and we're headed to a full moon in Aries, but not this week. It'll be in the next surf report. For this week, we have the first quarter moon. We're in the energy window number 15. It's the last energy window I've reported on, just due to time. It's something I want to keep going, but it's on the back burner, unfortunately. In this monthly chart in October, you can see that Pluto is stationed this week and will go direct in Capricorn. And also this week we had Jupiter in a station, and Jupiter will go retrograde this week. And then, you can see the full moon is next surf report just outside of the right vertical line. Then the red rose, this is the T-square that becomes apparent, and the green rose, this is the grand water trine that becomes apparent. As far as the intensity of the pressure cooker is what I'm calling this week, we have a possible least amount of pressure cooker. And delete this number here. We have a possible dip in the energy profile, and that's because there's two of those grand trines. One of them is an air, one of them's a water. The water is it pops up early in the week and it stays all week. This grand air trine is just for Saturday alone, and then we have Mercury and Pluto in a perfect square around Sunday, so the intensity goes up, and then the next round of T square starts on Monday. So anyway, we'll get into all that day by day. We start with the most obvious here is the grand water trine, and we've reported on this. This is Neptune, Venus, and Mars in the respective water signs. It's the oceanic shaman. And this shaman is submerged in the depths of the ocean, fluid yet powerful, sensitive yet fierce, shape-shifting through a multitude of forms and feelings. The grand water trine is a potent alchemist to the emotional, erotic, and practical mystical realms, just like the ocean. But of course, that's not the only thing happening in the skies. You have at the onset the first of the T squares, so Mercury's included in there. It's basically Mercury, almost a first quarter moon. The first quarter moon, if you're interested, goes exact. That's defined as Sun square moon. Goes exact at 1:55 p.m. on this day, 10th of October. And if you're also interested, Venus in conjunct Jupiter is exact at 10:35 a.m. But here's our T-square. First T-square for this week is Mercury, Moon, and Mars. And the Sun is also in its own T-square with the approaching first quarter moon. So we have that. And we'll cover that energy here shortly. In addition, to make things even more confusing, we have a couple of planets that are kind of going in opposite directions. They're not conjunct or anything. We got Jupiter and Pluto. And Pluto is beginning its station. You can see the little S denoted there. That's the beginning of it. I actually don't have an exact time for you, but Jupiter at 12:48 goes full retro from the station. So Jupiter was stationed. This is the exact time that it starts to move retrograde. Excuse me. So the full retrograde Jupiter in Gemini is the sage in the labyrinth. And in Gemini represents a journey of introspection and mental exploration. As I try to get this picture up here, the energy encourages a deep dive into one's own mind, beliefs, and understanding of the world. It's a time to navigate the complex labyrinth of thoughts and ideas, seeking wisdom and clarity within. And you'll see this energy weaving all the way through the Dreambot, the Rave, everywhere in this reading. So my point is Jupiter station, Jupiter retrograde is underrated this week because it's shadowed out by the Grand Trine, the T-squares, etc., pressure cooker. So on this day, on Friday, you might feel a deepening self-awareness and understanding, refining communication skills and mental agility, gaining insight into personal beliefs and philosophies. Might have a tendency with the retrograde to overthink, especially in Gemini, to have mental exhaustion, tendency to get lost in abstract ideas and lose touch with reality. There's your confusion. All right, this is what I was talking about on Saturday. And you can see it's confusing all these lines in here, but you can see two grand trines. First, you have grand air trine, Sun, Moon, Jupiter, retrograde. That's one. And because it's Moon, it's going to be a fleeting grand air trine. So just pretty much just Saturday, the 12th. But you also have that water. It's getting stronger. Venus, Mars, Neptune. So it's the underwater shaman, mermaid. All right. And on Sunday, this is when Mercury is starting to really pick the pressure cooker up, because Mercury square Pluto goes exact. Mercury in the last stages of Libra, Pluto last stages of Capricorn. And this is going to be the last day of Pluto's station. And this square that I just mentioned is the double-edged sword of persuasion. The combination represents a formidable force of persuasion and influence. This energy wields the power to sway opinions, broker deals, and reshape social structures through skillful communication and an acute understanding of underlying power dynamics. And that continues, that power dynamic and power struggles and pressure to have the power continues into that T-square in the next few days. However, this persuasive ability can be used for both constructive and manipulative purposes, making it a double-edged sword. And that's appropriate for all the energies. Actually, there's always pros and cons. But in this energy, Mercury square Pluto, you're going to feel exceptional negotiation and mediation skills, probably a pressure to do so, the ability to navigate complex social and political landscapes, the potential for transformative leadership and social reform. All right, here's our next T-square, and it's solely on the sun. Solely was a pun, get it? This T-square runs about 14 days, starts today on the 14th, and it goes all the way until the 28th. So it's 2 full weeks of pressure cooker on the sun. It's the cosmic pressure cooker. We've talked about this before in the energy window number 15. Imagine a pressure cooker about to explode from increasing pressure of one-sided ideologies. This T-square configuration is a crucible of immense stress and tension, threatening to erupt at any moment. The Libra sun attempts to contain and reconcile the volatile energies, but is caught in the crossfire between primal instinct and immovable authority. So lots of pressure, but keep in mind you still have the grand water trine. And talk about confusing. Talk about difficulty at the beginning. It's becoming all clear, isn't it? So here's our grand water trine still. Here's our T-square still. And then you have even more. You have Jupiter square Neptune and Saturn, but those are much looser alignments and kind of in the background. On Wednesday, same thing. It is a lot more segmented lines, meaning that they're all sort of aging out, including the grand water trine is aging out, and parts of the T-square are aging out. All right, our I-Ching reading was hexagram 3, change line 5. That's difficulty at the beginning. The birth of a new venture or relationship is an entry into the unknown. New things seem to be rushing upon us. The confusion can easily take over. So it's apparent where the dream bot was coming from. And the source could be, well, at least part of the Jupiter influence. However, chaos is a powerful force when you harness it properly. Excuse me. Line 5. You may find it difficult to grant the big favors that another may expect of you. Already feeling this one. Hexagram 3, Chun. This hexagram represents the initial stages of a new project or situation. It might feel exciting yet anxious, aware of challenges ahead, but determined to overcome, especially with that Pluto station thing. Slightly overwhelmed, but also energized by the potential for growth. Change line 5, the 5th line represents a position of authority and leadership. Waiting brings good fortune. Be sincere and truthful. There will be brilliant success. So you might, all in all, might experience a mix of excitement and trepidation. maybe confidence that if they maintain their integrity and persevere, they will achieve remarkable success, a sense of responsibility, moments of doubt or uncertainty. All right. Let us summarize and get to the solution. Here it is. Looks like a pressure cooker or a storm picture, and my heart goes out to, gosh, all the storm victims. Sheesh. Unbelievable, unprecedented. The typical stardom up energy at the first quarter moon is both magnified and pressurized by a couple of T-squares. It's the cosmic pressure cooker. The opposition of Mars and Pluto create even more major power conflicts, and several days of Pluto station create an infatuation with transformation. Talk about difficulty at the beginning, which is the I-Ching 3. The pressure this week is not just motivating, it's very chaotic and confusing. But the grand water trine produces the sage within to help us weather any trepid storm. All right, sound good? That's the influence. Now let's cover the solution. Put the change line in at 5 and you get 24. Hexagram 24 is returning. And we're looking for behaviors now. Don't move too fast. This turnaround requires that your energy be recharged by adequate rest so that your life force is not depleted prematurely. See where we're headed with this? The first quarter moon, normal first quarter moon, we're supposed to get up and start moving about, especially towards our lunar goals. Well, you're going to try to do this, and there's going to be that extra pressure to do so. But it's going to be confusing. It's going to be a lot of pressure, a lot of weight on your shoulders, possibly. And so this says that probably the best priority is focusing on your energy. Paradoxically, it's going to be probably best to be if the worm, moves the head forward, it can't keep moving forward. It has to stop and wait for the back to catch up. And so it's kind of that period where probably slow down and let the back catch up. And that metaphor rings true for like an energy management perspective. Embrace renewal, fresh starts, cultivate inner strength, maintain balance, practice self-reflection, embrace simplicity. I know I'm repeating myself. That's for a reason. Trust in natural cycles. All right, that was the I-Ching. Then this whole bag of worms starts at the first quarter moon. That's what really kicks it all off because it starts immediately at a T-square. And so that first quarter moon is at 17 degrees, 58 minutes of Capricorn. That puts us in Rave Gate 54 and Sidereal Sagittarius. Gate 54 is the marrying maiden, the interaction in its mundane social context, but also one's mystical and cosmic relationships. You can see it's sort of kind of the yin and the yang, it's balance. And line 4, enlightenment and darkenment, is even more so. So watch this. Here in the most mystical of positions, there is neither an exaltation nor a detriment, for in truth, they are the same. The Alpha and the Omega, the end and the beginning. There is no description possible. Each planet will manifest this energy adequately with absolutely no guarantee that its effects will even be perceived. However, the potential is always there, the fuel for transformation at its purest level. No polarity, no specific planetary accent. I love this no polarity thing because during confusing times, if we do good polarity thinking, that you're going to minimize your blind spots. So if you think that this thing is only bad, well, you're missing the other side. You're missing the silver lining. You're missing the good side. So if you can see the whole continuum, that everything is like this, there is no polarity. And some say that that is enlightenment. Here's the solution summary. We have I-Ching 24. That was the cusp of a turnaround. We have no polarity at the rave. We have these are very spiritual concepts, so no wonder we have Sidereal Sagittarius, the philosophical and spiritual being that he is. And we have the motivating first quarter moon. This one is extra pressurized. All right, this is a very pivotal and spiritual week. The first quarter moon happens at the rave line of the Alpha and the Omega, and therefore ripe for a pure transformation, also indicated with I-Ching 24. So foster inner strength, trust in natural cycles, meaning realize them and make sure that you use them for balance. Embrace renewal, practice patience, be adaptable. The first quarter moon overlaps with Sidereal Sagittarius in that we should move forward optimistically, expansively, freely, and wisely. Orient the mind to higher philosophical and spiritual contemplation and away from the mundane, like complaining, superficial judgments, and any sort of polarity thinking. Judgments is good and bad, right and wrong. Try to think opportunistically and employ the exploring, curious, and adventurous mind, while also not being swept away with confusing and distracting events. We have one more slide. This is the plant of the week. Thank you to Sean Elizabeth Nelson for creating this for us. And it's the trees of Pluto, the English yew. Now, be careful. This one's a poisonous tree, but there's a goal here. We're not going to ingest this, but let me read for you. The yew tree has been known for eons as the tree of life in some cultures, and in other cultures, a tree of the underworld, death, and transformation. That's why it's associated with Pluto. The yew is highly poisonous in all its forms, but holds great knowledge, transformation, and healing when connected to in the quantum space. The yew, as with all the trees, offers divine protection and grounding, as well as a complete protection over children. The yew also corresponds strongly to Saturn. The yew tree, along with other powerful trees such as the oak, allows the curious traveler to experience all the realms. For the extra curious traveler, the yew in particular can provide a space that is literally between the fractals of time. And Sean says, what I personally experienced was that the yew holds a 0-point access to time and space, where observation, understanding, and creation, even timeline changes or redos, can occur. This inner observation on a galactic level and available for all of us to experience and to utilize. With polarity bearing down upon us all, embrace the gift of no polarity this week. Meditate and imagine yourself inside the hollow trunk of the tree of life. Don't worry to go up or down, just remain inside the tree and focus on the dot and the limitless absolute in the center of your mind. What you can observe here is the moment after energies are created, but before the energies arrive and are felt or perceived by us. The void from the perspective of the time pendulum. From this point of observation, with intent in meditation, one can transmute energies before they arrive at any point on our timeline for the highest good of us individually, but potentially at a high level collectively. From the 0 point, the changes we can make, the things we can understand, and the future we can create are absolutely limitless and non-linear, I would assume. Well, thank you, Sean, for that. Big shout out to her. And then I'm going to leave it on this. slide so that you can take a screenshot if you'd like. We have the influence, very confusing, very pressurized, starts with the first quarter moon with T-squares. We have the navigator with the grand water trine, feeling your way through this confusion. And then ultimately, we need to go through slowly into the forward movement at the first quarter moon and beyond. And even though it's a lot of pressure to do things, a lot of negotiations to do and all that, we need to stay in balance and stay away from polarity thinking and into the higher levels of mind. Right? What did I miss, everybody? Appreciate you being here. Love and light to all of you. Appreciate all that you do to support this channel. Thank you. Namaste.